Hey there, folks. It's Adam here, and let me just turn off the banner so you can see us both. It's Adam and Liam. How we doing? How's it going, Liam? How you doing?
Good, you?
I'm doing good, man. It's getting ready for this pretty interesting storm. I know the weather community is in quite a quite a tizzy with this one. Their heads are spinning around because the models look ridiculous. So we're gonna dive into that. We're gonna go through some of the different models that we've been looking at to make the forecast that Brendan's been looking at to make his amazing forecast maps. And yeah, we're gonna look at his maps as well too. We're gonna try to answer some questions, try to bring some clarity to this because I'm sure it's pretty confusing. I know a lot of folks are gonna have to travel for the holidays, and yeah, it's the too long didn't read is if you have to travel Friday and you can not travel Friday, that would be optimal. And if you don't have to travel on Saturday, that would also be optimal. Yeah, those 2 days are going to be brutal. Friday is going to be ridiculously bad, but Saturday is going to be quite intense as well too. So basically, if you don't have to travel those 2 days, that'd be great. I know there are essential workers, and our thoughts are with them because they're amazing. So kudos to all the essential workers who don't have a choice and they have to risk their safety to get to where they need to get to. So yeah, so in those particular cases, we'll try to bring some clarity to when you might maybe see a window. There's not much windows of opportunity. Tomorrow during the day is probably the better time to travel. Christmas evening, so the 25th in the evening might be better, but there's going to be some pretty intense snow squalls on the 25th as well too, especially east of Lake Huron and east of Georgian Bay. So not many good solutions here. And if Friday is the day you have to travel, I mean, it's going to be disgusting. So yeah, let's just pull up some stuff here. What do you think, Liam? Think it's a good idea? Oh, you're muted. Are you muted? I didn't hear you there.
Oh, maybe my
no, you're
my
good. You're good.
mic filter. There we go.
No. I think you're good. You're good. You're good. All right. I had to make you smaller though. I had to shrink you just slightly, if
All
that's
good.
okay.
All good.
That's okay. Perfect. All right. Let me just flip over to the widespread map here. This is the main map. Actually, I'm gonna do one of these here. You know what, Liam? I might be able to have you on screen if I do this. No, that's not
All
gonna
good.
work.
No,
How
I can
about
be.
this?
I can be smaller.
All right, you can be smaller. All right, let's see here. There we go. I'll just do this for now. So this is the main map here. As you can see, it is colorful. That is right. It is quite colorful. I think we're going to change the wording from moderate to severe because a lot of folks are like, "Oh, I'm in the moderate." Okay, well that's fine. We should be fine, eh? Turns out it's going to be nothing, and I'm like, "No, no, moderate. That's not what moderate means to us. In fact, if you follow the National Weather Service in the U.S. at all, moderate is like their second highest. That's like their second strongest term. So when they're talking about tornado outbreaks, moderate is like 4 out of 5. It goes moderate and then high. So that's where we got the term from. But obviously, that's not translating well. There seems to be a disconnect there where folks think that moderate is, yeah, moderate is just obviously fine, but it's not. We consider moderate severe. So consider if you see the word moderate and you see the color orange, we're going to change that terminology from moderate to severe because that makes more sense, I think. Brendan says I sounded very Canadian there. I said, eh? Canadian, eh? All right. So if you are in the pink area, which is the what we have set as extreme, so we've got some extreme risks here. And Environment Canada has also put out a map. I did a video earlier as well too. You can check it out on our page. If you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, if you're on TikTok, we did a video earlier that showed Environment Canada's map, and they basically highlighted Owen Sound, Kincardine, Goderich, Hanover areas in an extreme, their highest risk that they can go to, as well as the Niagara region and the Prince Edward County to Kingston area. So basically, areas north of Lake Ontario, north of Lake Erie, on the east side of Lake Erie, on the east side of Lake Ontario. Those are going to be the strongest winds for sure. We're going to show you some wind model stuff. I believe one of the short range models just came in, and it looks ridiculously strong. It looks ridiculous. It just says new run available. Just said that right now, but it looks disgustingly strong. So the winds are going to be ridiculous. I mean, on Friday, the winds are going to be anywhere from 80 kilometer an hour gusts up to 120 kilometer an hour gusts. We've seen some pretty big signs of, and this isn't just normally we have these wind warnings. We have these big storms come in, and you see like wind warnings in Niagara, and you see wind warnings in Prince Edward County, like areas that are really close to the Great Lakes. But in this particular case, the signs are very strong for severe winds spreading across a big swath of our region. So it's going to be not the greatest situation, especially there's also going to be a flash freeze. So in some areas, it's going to kind of start as rain, and then the temperature is going to drop very drastically, very quickly. And what the term is a flash freeze. So you could be driving, it could be rain. All of a sudden, the temperature you just start to see it plummet. I mean, some of the data coming out of the U.S. on how quickly the temperature has dropped with this system is astonishing. It's going to drop very, very fast to the point all of a sudden all the rain that's on the road is now ice. So you can see how that is not good. And that's why we're talking about, this being potentially a historic storm, especially with the low pressure. The low pressure is going to be unbelievably low. Some of these models, and we're hoping they're wrong because they are going full blast like they're literally maxing out in extremely low pressure, very, very strong winds, and in some cases quite a bit of snow as well too. And the blizzard conditions into Saturday, and then continuing for the squalls on Sunday. Some areas might see significant totals, especially in the snow belts, like in Muskoka and Owen Sound areas as well too. So it's going to be quite a multi-day event. It's not going to be very, very nice. So again, in this map, you can see we've got Grand Bend, London, Woodstock, Kitchener-Waterloo, Orangeville, Barrie, and areas east of Newmarket, maybe Peterborough-ish, all in that kind of red little swoop there, which is strong. So that's our second highest risk. And then also, too, along the lakeshore, so from Leamington to St. Thomas, kind of around the Tillsonburg area and up southeast of Brantford and towards Grimsby and east of Hamilton there. So that is also in strong. And then, of course, you see strong in eastern Ontario too. So Brockville, Smith Falls, Renfrew, Petawawa, Pembroke, Ottawa, Cornwall. There's another swath of strong. And then you can see in northeastern Ontario as well too. We've also put that in a strong area. So it's going to be pretty intense for many, many folks. But as you can see in pink, that is the strongest area. And it's going to be, Midland, Bracebridge. I believe Brennan put those in strong because of the blizzard conditions are going to be unbelievable, but the snowfall totals are also going to be very, very strong, especially those areas kind of north of Barrie. The snow squalls are going to be ridiculous. So, it's not going to be a walk in the park here, folks. It's going to be a beastly storm that we're going to have to deal with, and it's something we have to watch closely. So we have a bunch of the zoomed in maps, but I want to jump right into some of the model data because, it is ridiculous. Caitlin says, I think you should be dressed up as the Grinch while reporting on this. Maybe as what's that? Jack the Pumpkin, or because Brennan said, the Nightmare Before Christmas, which I thought was quite clever on his part. I mean, it makes sense. It's going to be a bit of a Nightmare Before Christmas here. So, so I could see the Grinch. We could do the Grinch, or we could do Jack the Pumpkin King. Either or would work. Okay, so let's jump into the models here. I want to actually show the. Let's see if this is all lined up. It is. Okay, so this is on Pivotal Weather here. This is the latest HRRR, the rapidly refreshing model, and these are the wind gusts possible. So. You don't see the timestamp on here, but I'll try to walk you through it. This is like Thursday morning, starting to get pretty windy. These gusts as well. This isn't going to help. I have a chart for conversion over here. It's, as you can see, it's in miles per hour. So this is not going to help, but you'll get an idea. The colors get ridiculous. So, so this is Thursday morning. We're seeing so 23, 34 miles per hour. So 30 to 60 kilometer an hour gusts. Nothing too wild. Thursday morning. Then we get into Thursday evening, and it's things are just going to continue to pick up and pick up and pick up. Here is Thursday night about 9 o'clock, and once you start to see the yellow is not good. So yellow, we're getting to some very high values. But watch what happens when we get into Friday morning. Watch this yellow and brown come in. This is preposterous. So this is what 7 a.m., 8 a.m. on Friday morning. And some of the gusts down here by Niagara are 72 miles per hour. My chart is maxed out here. That's like 115 kilometers an hour. So that is, and this is in model land. So sometimes these estimated wind gusts can be higher than what actually happens. But I mean, if any of this is reaching the surface, 72 miles per hour here. Yeah, that is south of Niagara Falls. That is extremely strong. Okay, so you already see that. So you're like, okay, yeah, Niagara always gets these big strong wind gusts, of course. Over here we're at 48, 50. I think we have to get to 90 kilometers an hour, we have to be at about 56 or so, 56 miles per hour. So we're not really there until we get into the Niagara region. So Niagara is already very strong Friday morning. Okay, let's just zoom this over here and see what happens. You start to see on the escarpment here from Blue Mountain to the south, we're starting to see 65 mile per hour winds here. So that's 104 kilometers an hour on the escarpment. And again, this is in model land. So this doesn't necessarily mean this is exactly how it's going to go down. But watch what happens as I start to swipe even further. You get to see a lot more brown. And brown is not good. So as I get to, what did that say? 78. So here's 81 miles per hour. Oh my goodness. One of the team members put me in a Grinch suit in an image. Liam might have to bring that up on the stream. I love this team. Okay. So 83, what was this? 83 miles per hour here on the escarpment. What is that? My chart goes from 75 to 100. So it's somewhere between, so it's more than 120 kilometers an hour. That's probably 130, I think, maybe even higher.
It's 133.
133 kilometers an hour on the escarpment. But I don't know if you noticed, this is not just severe winds in Niagara. Now we have severe winds anywhere that you see here that's kind of got this goldy brown color. This is severe winds across much of the region. And that's where the model ends. That's where it taps out here. But that's coming in pretty strong. Now, again, this is model data. This doesn't mean that that's exactly what's going to happen. But when model data says 100 kilometers an hour, often we can get like 80 or 90 kilometers an hour. When model data says 133 kilometers an hour, I think we're going to be exceeding 100 kilometers an hour, at least, if not like hitting like 120. Again, Environment Canada is talking about 80 up to 120 kilometer an hour wind gusts. So they're seeing the data too, and they're also saying that's very, very strong wind gusts. So when you have wind gusts that strong, if any of it's reaching the surface, when there's precipitation involved as well too, when you just have like no precipitation, you have extremely strong wind gusts, that alone is dangerous. When you add precipitation to that, that can sometimes bring some of that towards the surface. That can really help amplify, because if you put some rain in there, if you put some snow in there, if you put some precipitation in there, then there's more for the wind to blow around. So yeah, so there's that.
Just to recap there, this model data, this last frame here right now is from 7 p.m. EST on Friday.
Yeah, that is about 7, 8. Here's Snacks, by the way. He won't leave me alone. He's upside down now. Everybody say hi. My cat Snacks. He's a character. Okay, so so that is to clarify what timing that is. That's like Friday night around 7, 8 o'clock. So here's Friday night. So Friday night's gonna be brutal, but it's already gonna be picking up by here's like 2, 3 p.m. So 2 p.m. So already in the afternoon on Friday. So if you have to travel at all on Friday, even Friday morning in some areas, but it's just going to continue to get stronger and stronger and stronger throughout the evening. So there's that. Yeah. Okay. So if I switch over to, let's take a look at a little bit of a longer range model. So this is the HRRR is an American model. And then we also have the NAM model, which is also an American model. It should line up the same. Okay, yeah, the city names line up pretty good as well too. And again, this is from Pivotal Weather. And if I fast forward here, now I think this is the 00Z. Yeah, okay. So let's see what it's talking about. So here's Friday morning, a little bit less aggressive in Niagara. And if I keep zooming in, here is Friday evening. So so the NAM is a little bit less aggressive compared to the HRRR, but it's still talking about 60. What is it? I think I saw a 67 in here somewhere. Yeah, 68 miles per hour up on the escarpment, and Niagara above 60 miles per hour. So still dangerous wind gusts across much of the region. And then as I keep scrolling, it's going to continue. This is Saturday morning. We're still seeing very, very strong wind gusts. So it's going to be like 2 days of borderline, if not severe, wind gusts for a major part of the region. Yeah, so that's not great. I'm going to switch over to the Canadian model. I don't think. Oh, we might actually have. Oh, okay. We have the latest run of the Canadian model. Let's see what it's talking about here. Yeah, the Canadian model is also looking quite aggressive. Let's go back to, this is Friday at 8 o'clock. And yeah, it's into the 60 mile per hour, again, 63 mile per hour. So we're talking, 100 km/h gusts plus. And yeah, that is some of the latest data, but that's not as high of a resolution of a model. So it's a little bit lower in resolution, but that might be a little bit closer to the reality. So again, 100, 110, maybe peaking out at 120 or a little bit higher with wind gusts, but not just along the lakeshore, across much of the region here. So very, very substantial winds, mainly in southwestern Ontario, some central Ontario, and it's going to kind of start pushing to the east as well too. But mainly along kind of the Kingston corridor. I'm not sure if those extreme winds are going to get up into the Ottawa Valley, but I mean, it's certainly, when you see that line come across on Friday morning, that is going to it's going to hit pretty hard. So yeah, so there is that. Let's take a look at maybe some of these snowfall totals. And this is, again, we're in model land, so it doesn't necessarily reflect what is actually going to happen. But I want to take this back here. This is also in inches, so I have my conversion chart there so we can convert this. So this is Thursday night at about 7 o'clock. And here is, I'll skip ahead to Friday night. So we're already seeing, by Friday night about 7, 8 o'clock, we're already seeing, almost a foot by the Goderich areas on this particular model. And this is using, this is getting a little bit complicated, but this is using a variable ratio to try to calculate what's going to fall. There's two ways of calculating it. You can just do a straight ratio, 10-to-1, or you can do a variable ratio depending on the conditions of what we're dealing with here. So we have the variable ratio on, which is called Kuchera, I think. Is that how you pronounce it, Liam? Is it Kuchera? I don't think I've ever said it out loud. Kuchera, yeah. Okay, so we're looking at Kuchera. So that's by Friday evening. And let me skip ahead to by Saturday evening. This model's talking about 27 inches from Thursday night to Saturday night. Already 27 inches, which is, where's my chart? That's 68 centimeters. What is this? This got to be like Mount Forest or something like this, somewhere in here. Yeah, I would think so. So, and then east of, kind of like southeast of Midland here, talking about 30 inches in that little pocket. So that's where we're starting to see the squall starting to pick up and bring in some heavy duty snowfall totals. And if I keep scrolling along, let's go all the way to Sunday night. By Sunday night, Midland, east of Midland, 47 inches by Sunday night. And what does that calculate to again? My chart is maxing out. So this model, the Canadian model, is suggesting like 115 centimeters, 47 inches, 47 inches east of Midland. So this big squall is going to be brutal, and this squall as well is going to be quite brutal. And that's got, 37, 38 inches. So not everybody, snow is going to be the story. I mean, if you look down at Toronto, Toronto's like, the Toronto bubble has 5 inches by Sunday night. So, these folks are going to say, where's that winter storm? Other than the crazy winds and the flash freeze and everything they're going to be dealing with in that regard. They're going to say, where's all this snow? I thought this was supposed to be a big snowstorm. Well, if they took a drive up the street, it's going to be ridiculous. So this squall is going to be ridiculous. Looks like it might. Barrie is right on the edge. I've been watching Barrie closely because I'm from Barrie, and Barrie's right on the edge of this beastly squall. I think we have Barrie right here in about a foot by Sunday night, which we can deal with. Like we get a foot every other snow squall, so we can handle that. But if you just go just up the road, if this could, I mean, depending on the way the winds are going, this could shift a little bit to the north. It could shift a little bit to the south. Who knows? But it's been fairly consistent that through Owen Sound, all the way over to areas east of Midland, that squall is going to be ridiculous, and so is this one that's approaching kind of the Orangeville area, Shelburne area. So but to the west of it, so Mount Forest area is going to be hammered by snow, and then other areas still. I mean, like if you look at like London London's into a foot, so it's still a reasonable amount. But snow hasn't always, as we've been watching this, we haven't really thought snow is the big story, except for these areas that are in the snow belts that are going to get a ridiculous amount of snow over those particular days, because this is not all happening at once. This is going to be Thursday night into Friday, into Saturday, into Sunday, and it's gonna be something. So I just want to take a look at one more model. So that was the Canadian model. Let's take a look at the NAM model, which is the American model here. So let's see how it develops. This is Thursday night at about 7 o'clock, and let's jump to Friday night at 7 o'clock. And it's actually looking pretty close, especially in that Goderich area. That was about the same total, so about a foot or more in the Goderich region. And then if we jump all the way to Saturday night at 7, then let me just go back here. Saturday night at 7, it was, so the American model's talking about 32 inches east of Goderich. And a little bit more up here towards Parry Sound, Britt, Huntsville area, it's talking about 30. So a little bit of a different position with the American model compared to the Canadian model. Basically just positioning the low pressure in a slightly different spot, so you get a little bit of a different wind pattern. And they're talking about more totals, and again, they're showing Toronto at an inch. So I'm just anticipating the folks that live in the GTA going, where's all the snow? I thought you said this is going to be a big storm, yada yada yada, I'm sure. And then if we go up to Barrie, hey, Barrie's sitting around 2 inches. So go American model. I want the American model to be right. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be ridiculous regardless. So big, strong storm, dangerous travel conditions. As you can see, the models are spitting out some pretty impressive stuff here, especially with the variable ratio. It's pretty intense, and the wind gusts are preposterous. So yeah, and we haven't really touched on the flash freeze. I mean, we mentioned it a little bit, but when you have the temperature dropping so quickly, I wonder if I think I can actually pull up the temperature here. It probably would be better on the HUR model. So let me go back to the high resolution HUR model. Again, look at those wind gusts. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Liam, have you had a chance to pull up the Grinch image yet, by any chance?
I have it. Yeah, I can pull it up.
Oh dear. All right.
Oh, there you go.
That was Brennan waiting with that one. So this is someone said I should be dressed up as the Grinch delivering this news, and here you go. This is our crack team is working hard in the background on creating these images. And I'm pretty sure that's enough. We don't need to see this anymore. This is terrifying. If you can make me Jack the Pumpkin, that would be pretty sweet. Jack the Pumpkin King would be awesome. But all right, sorry, go ahead.
I was looking at the timing of that flash freeze. If you look at the reflectivity, it's right at like 7 a.m. on Friday, so the morning commute.
Yeah,
like right when that flash freeze comes right down the 403 corridor.
Oh, you can see it right there, eh? Look at the temperature gradient. It's ridiculous. What does the pressure go down to? It goes so low. 72, 66, 966.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous. That is ridiculously low pressure. I already can feel the folks that get migraines from pressure drops. This is going to be on another level. So, I mean, yeah, I feel terrible for you. You can see, especially if you can see the gradients, you can see all the lines here that they're very, very close together. It's going to be something else. So the temperature, let's say the temperature in, Kitchener-Waterloo before it comes through. Let me see what's going to be during that morning. Okay, so that morning we're going to be 37 Fahrenheit, which is pretty close to just above freezing, I think. I don't have that chart up with me right now. I probably should have. Liam can help me out. About 3 degrees. Okay, so 3 degrees ish. 3 degrees in Kitchener-Waterloo, and then as this pushes through, within no time, it's going to be what's 9 Fahrenheit? 4 Fahrenheit? Yeah. What's 4 Fahrenheit? That's low.
-15.
-15. So we're gonna go from 3 degrees to -15. So this is here. Let's go through this. So these are hour intervals. So this is 7, 8, 9, 10. So between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m., it's gonna drop that sharply, and that's why southwestern Ontario is the main area for the flash freeze risk, and as well, I mean, a lot of other areas too as well. Niagara, deep southwestern Ontario as well, and the GTA. You can see this very, very, very sharp cold come in, and with it, the winds are going to be wailing. So, and very, very low pressure, and the temperatures are going to be bitterly cold behind it. I mean,
Alana just
1
mentioned that
Fahrenheit.
they extended the winter storm watches to Eastern Ontario.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yep.
Windsor's going to be down to -2 Fahrenheit. What's that off the top of your head, Liam? -2 Fahrenheit. Ouch.
It is -18, almost -19.
Oof, okay. -19 on the backside of it. I'm going to jump to the Canadian model, which I think goes a little bit further out. And let's just see about, yeah, the timing is identical. The timing is identical there, but how cold is it getting? It doesn't show it getting as cold, I don't think. Yeah, it keeps it around the coldest being about 6 Fahrenheit. It keeps it a little bit warmer than the American model. American model brings in even more cold. So anyways, the flash freeze, if anybody's traveling during that time, and if we have some precipitation out ahead of it as well too, let's look at precipitation type and rate. So what you're going to see here is blue. So green is rain, blue is snow, and then pink would be freezing rain. But I don't think we're going to be dealing with that here. So as you can see, it's starting off. This is Thursday night. So let's go Thursday night at 7 p.m. So already seeing some rain in deep southwestern Ontario. So, and then even heavier rain as we get to the darker greens, even heavier rain. And this is, let's see here, right there would be 7 in the morning. So it doesn't take long for it to change over to snow and do that flash freeze, but you have a few hours of rain before that sharp cold front comes in. So deep southwestern Ontario, the flash freeze risk is pretty substantial. And for anybody who has to commute that morning is going to be pretty treacherous, especially with the winds, with the rain that has dropped and all of a sudden has frozen very quickly, and then snow being thrown around as well too. It's just it's going to be a comedy of errors there. It's not going to be very nice. So yeah. So that's basically what we're dealing with. Kind of the breakdown here. I'll go back to Brennan's original map, and I'm going to jump into the comments here and see if I can answer some. I missed 1,409 comments. Okay. So I'm going to start at number 1. No, I can't. There's no possible way here. Okay. Let me see. Melissa Dunlop says, what's commuting looking like for Saturday? It's not great. It's still going to be very, very windy. The wind gusts can get up to, I think it's 70 to about 100 kilometers an hour on Saturday for much of the region. And so Melissa, let us know where you're commuting from. Caitlin says Stayner. Basically, if the question is my area going to be affected by this? The answer is yes. If you live anywhere between Windsor and Ottawa, Niagara Falls and Sudbury, or even, Sault Ste. Marie is going to get hit pretty hard. Even parts of northeastern Ontario are going to hit quite hard with a lot of snow. Basically, if you're in northeastern Ontario or southern Ontario, southwestern, GTA, GTHA, Niagara, Central Ontario, Eastern Ontario. If you're in any of these areas, then the answer is yes, you will be affected. It's just how affected will you be? But definitely the answer is yes. So actually, that's a good point. Somebody on our team, maybe Brennan, maybe Liam, I'm not sure, put up, download our free app. So if you go to instantweatherapp.com, I'll put a link actually in the comments here as well too. Download our free app and I'll put the direct link here. instantweatherinc.com/app. The other one's a forwarding app, but download our free app, or just go directly to the App Store. If you go to the App Store or the Google Play Store and type in Instant Weather, 2 separate words, not Insta Weather, but Instant Weather, you'll see our IW with the blue icon, blue and white. And download our free app, check the minute product, check the hourly product, search your location, and try to go through the hourly to figure out when things might be affecting you. Because, we can say a particular time frame, but you might be in Ottawa and we're talking about, moving into southwestern Ontario on Friday morning. So, Ottawa won't be affected until later, of course, as things move from the west to the east, like they typically do. And so the timing is going to be different for wherever you are. And also too, that data updates often. So if you go back to the app, and you double check. For the minute product, it updates every 15 minutes. For the hourly product, it updates every hour. So things can shift and change. And a few folks have actually, I saw them tweet that they noticed the snowfall totals have actually increased quite a bit for certain areas. In fact, on our app for Barrie, it said between Thursday and I think like Monday, it was talking like above 50 centimeters in total. And our app, it's usually pretty modest when it comes to the snowfall totals. And that's also why it's a good idea to compare the forecast from our app to our custom forecast maps, like the one you see above my head right now, because that'll give you like the range of possibilities. As we use two different forecasting methods for the app and for our custom maps. So it's good to compare between the two, and that should give you a pretty good range of what is possible for your exact area. So yeah, oh, and a huge thank you to all of those who have gone into the app, gone to the menu, clicked the upgrade radar page, and upgraded the future radar to 5 hours, as well as removing the ads from the app. So huge thank you to all those who've done that. The little ad banner for the free version of the app does not cover the cost of the app. So if it wasn't for those who subscribe, the app would absolutely not exist. It would have been shut down a long time ago. So huge thank you to all those who have subscribed to make the app sustainable and possible, and give us the ability to do upgrades. We're working on a really cool, easy reporting bar and stuff, and there's a lot of new features coming, like our Instant Weather Pro as well too, with some Pro Radar features. So we're super excited about that. But anyways, thank you so much for making it all possible. I really appreciate it, and so does the team. Thank you kindly. All right, back to the questions. Let's see here. Stainer, please. Yes, the answer is yes. Stainer will be effective. Is that the American model or Canadian? I think we showed both. I'm pretty sure I mentioned which model was which, but nevertheless, they actually look pretty close, which is fairly surprising. Sometimes there's quite a difference between the two, but they actually look pretty close. Jennifer says, what morning? Friday morning. It will be brutal, especially in southwestern Ontario and Niagara and the GTA. And then Saturday morning will also be brutal. So, and if you're in the snow belt, so if you're east of Lake Huron, especially the north side, and if you're east of Georgian Bay, Sunday morning is also going to be disgusting. Let's see here. Madden says, London got watch warning. So just to clarify, there's a watch and then there's a warning. The best phrase is watch for a warning, because then you remember which one's supposed to come first. It doesn't always work that way. Cupcake, there we go. We got the cupcake on the screen. Cupcake watch, cupcake warning. The watch means the ingredients are there for it to happen. The cupcake warning means it is currently or just about to, it is imminent or just about to happen. And how did I get the Grinch image back onto the screen again? I'm pretty sure it's Brennan. Thank you, Brennan. Appreciate that. All right. Let's see here. Hello from Peterborough. Hey, how's it going? Laura says, what about Norfolk County? Yes. I'm just going to answer yes. When people ask if their location's going to be affected from now on, I'm just going to go with yes, because everybody's going to be affected. How will driving Thursday night be? Toronto to St. Catharines? It might not be that bad. It's hard to say for sure. It all depends on how quickly this comes in. But as you saw, like the big strong winds are not really pushing through until Friday morning. So there's a possibility for rain, maybe some flurries as well too. But traveling on Thursday is going to be drastically better than Friday. Thursday might not be the greatest because of the slick roads. Yeah, but drastically better than Friday. Friday is going to be just disgusting. It's not going to be a good time. Curious says, King Carden, you are in our extreme risk as well as you are in Environment Canada's extreme risk, and King Carden is going to be pretty rough. I could just already envision the power outages and the road closures and all of that stuff. So, what is happening? Will this storm affect me? And the answer is yes. By the Grinch of Christmas, who happens to be me. Thank you for this wonderful image. I don't know if AI was involved in this image, but I think it's possible. But anyways.
Another thing to highlight too is the possibility of power outages, and just making sure everybody's prepared for that, especially with the cold weather. That's the thing to talk about.
Yeah, that's a good point, because when we have these freezing rain events, not that this is not a freezing rain event. This is a flash freeze event. But when we have freezing rain events, sometimes the silver lining is like, well, the power went out. At least it's warm, because usually if it's freezing rain, we're kind of hovering around the 0 mark, where that is not the case in this situation. The case is, if you are out of power for a day, for 2, for 3 days, it's going to be brutally cold after this cold front comes through. So, yeah, that's the situation we don't want. We don't want people out of power without a heat source, and then we have brutal cold at the same time. That's when things get dangerous. So, yeah, it's good. Thank you for pointing that out. I appreciate it. Rachel says Ottawa, Eastern Ontario. Yeah, Eastern Ontario is going to see the storm. It's going to be pretty intense, but it's certainly going to be not the greatest situation for much of the area. I think it's probably a little bit stronger to the southwest, but Ottawa is going to see snow. It's going to see heavy winds. It's going to see the flash freeze is eventually going to make its way to the east as well too. So it's not going to be the greatest situation. But yeah, so Ottawa is definitely involved as well too. Shannon says Niagara. Yeah, your winds are going to be ridiculously strong winds in Niagara. So that is a big concern for sure. Just scrolling down. Let me just keep going. There's so many comments. I've missed so many of them. Side note, huge thank you to those who have sent in stars on Facebook, super chats on YouTube. I'm sure I've missed all of them, so my apologies. I've just been trying to run through all the details here, but yeah, but thank you to all those who have sent those in. Really appreciate it. Jackson says, Instant Weather Ontario, how high have winds for Lindsay, Ontario? So this is a good time. Again, we've pointed out too to download our free app. But if you download our free app and you check the hourly, you can actually, if you scroll down the page, you'll notice that there are the sustained wind values, and then right below it in smaller text, it actually says the wind gusts. So yeah, you might want to go through the hourly product to see what the different wind gusts are for your particular area, because each area is going to be unique. There's going to be fairly similar, but each area will be unique. So I would definitely recommend go download our app. It's Instant Weather. You can get it on the App Store or the Google Play Store. It's free, and go to the hourly product and go scroll through for your area and see what the wind gust might be. But again, our app it's a different way of forecasting. It's a bit more conservative. And I think that it might be underestimating some of the wind gusts as well too. So they're going to get pretty intense. It's possible that much of the area could get up to severe threshold, which would be 90 kilometers an hour, and maybe even exceed it. In some areas, it looks like, we could be up to 100, we could be up to 110, and maybe even 120 kilometers an hour. So it's going to be intense. Let's see here. Rhonda says, winds are driving Friday night. Awful.
There's a good question in the chat here. Where do you expect the most intense snow squalls to be?
Like we saw on the models there, I would say, Midland area, east of Midland, and maybe depending on if the winds shift a little bit more to the north, it could be more like Parry Sound, kind of into the Bracebridge area, into the Huntsville area, and this is more like we're talking by Sunday. So and Kincardine, Hanover, Collingwood, Owen Sound, those areas as well too. So that corridor looks brutal for the snow squalls for sure. But it's possible that the snow squalls can reach other areas. I know sometimes we see on the models the snow squalls only get like as far east as like Aurelia, and then by the day of we see them tracking all the way towards Bancroft or even further. So these snow squalls can, if it's the right conditions, they can really stretch far from the Great Lakes. So. So Kimberly has can you elaborate on what moderate on our legend means? So I mentioned this at the start of the stream. We're going to change the wording from moderate to severe, because we consider the term moderate to be severe, especially based on the National Weather Service in the US. They use moderate as like their second strongest term for their tornado risks. They go from marginal to slight, to enhanced is actually their orange. Then they go to moderate is what we have as strong, and then they go to high risk for their purple. So yeah, so we consider moderate to be severe, but I don't think that term is coming across well because a lot of folks are like, "Oh, moderate. Oh, that's not so bad." So, and we're like, "Nah, that's not what we meant." So, I think we need to clarify that. We're going to scrap moderate and we're going to change that to severe. So, if you see moderate orange on our map, if you're in Sarnia, if you're in Chatham, if you're between London and St. Thomas, if you're in Tillsonburg, Brantford, Hamilton, Toronto, Newmarket, and you're like, "Oh, moderate. Okay, well then it's not going to be too bad for us." It's still going to be brutal. We consider that to be severe. So I would not, just because that area is orange does not mean that it's going to be a walk in the park for those areas. There's still going to be a flash freeze. There's still going to be intense wind gusts. Thankfully, it looks like so far, cross your fingers, that we're going to see not that big of snowfall totals for the GTHA. It looks like that little bubble might hang on as far as snowfall totals are concerned, but still going to be seeing some rain, still going to be seeing intense winds, the flash freeze, and it's very possible to see flurries and a few inches of snow in those areas as well too. But you're not going to get the snowfall totals like the Midland area or east of Kincardine area. So yes, but anyways, yeah, moderate. Let's just consider it severe, not moderate. Moderate sounds a little too cozy. Okay, let's see here. Just scrolling through. What time is it? 10:34. My goodness. Have we already been we've been live for 51 minutes? Wow. That went by quick.
Yep.
That's nice. That was quick. I haven't even let Liam say anything at all. He hasn't said a word. I'm not even sure if
she highlighted a comment about the flash freeze.
What's a flash freeze? Says Brooke. That's a good question. Well, it basically means that the temperature is going to drop so rapidly, and before that, we're going to have rain. So rain is going to move in from the southwest. It's going to there's going to be hours of rain, especially in Windsor and parts of deep southwestern Ontario. There's going to be rain, and then the temperature is on Friday morning is going to drop drastically. What was the drop again, Liam? It was pretty substantial, wasn't it?
It was like an 18 degree drop.
18 degree? An 18 degree drop. So it's already going to be just above freezing when it's raining. And then it's going to drop 18 degrees in like a 2 to 3 hour period. You just watch the temperature go down and very, very quickly when that cold front moves through. And therefore, all the rain that's on the road, now it becomes ice. So that's what a flash freeze is. It's a drastic drop in temperature. And the fact that there's going to be rain beforehand means that it's going to be treacherous driving conditions. Then add on top of that, 100-ish kilometer an hour wind gusts with snow, and the road is frozen. Like, close your eyes and try to picture that and realize that Friday is not going to be a great day to travel. Friday is going to be a brutal, brutal time. Lexi says, how are we sure there won't be any freezing rain? The last storm we had in Toronto with a flash freeze contained freezing rain. Power's out for 3 days in some neighborhood. Yeah, so basically, based on the model data, models are trying to depict, is it going to be snow, is it going to be rain, or is it going to be freezing rain? And or ice pellets as well, too. There might be a brief window as the temperature is dropping and we're changing from rain to snow. There always is that chance in that little brief changeover. But I mean, it's not really. I mean, it's like if the trees are soaked in rain, if the trees are all wet, and then all of a sudden the temperature drops 18 degrees in 2-3 hours, it's going to be like there was freezing rain. So it's going to be comparable. It's not going to be your classic, hours and hours and hours of freezing rain. Freezing rain's different, where the surface is already below freezing. And then when the rain drops, it hits the surface and immediately turns into ice. So it's going to be different from that situation, but it's still going to be not great. It's still going to be rain, and then the temperature is going to drastically drop, and then everything's going to be frozen. So it would be fairly comparable, I would think. Steph says, what do stars do for you on your end? Is it just for razzle dazzle? That was an interesting term. No, star, it's like a tip jar. It's a tip jar through Facebook. Stars, each star costs like a penny or something, or a few pennies. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but yeah, it's like a tip jar. So they say you can buy this many stars for this many dollars, and then it's like a tip jar. So yeah, I mean it's a tip jar. So it's not just razzle dazzle. It's also a tip jar. Thank you for the question. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Sorry, just so many. Kathleen says yes. School closures. I have a feeling Brennan's school closure map is going to be the most purple we've ever seen. Is this possible, Brennan? Can you clarify this? Is the what do you think your snow day map is going to look like? Is it going to be brutal? What do you got? I have a feeling it's more mainly in probably southwest. Oh, pull up the new map. There's a new map.
No,
What you got?
Pull up the.
Oh, don't pull. Okay. Anyways, let me know what you think, because I mean you're going to be making it. So I have a feeling with the flash freeze in southwestern Ontario, probably, and it's going to be reaching out to the east. I think it's going to be a very, very purple map. So that's just my guess, but it's going to be up to Brennan to put that together. So Andrew says, how likely are gusts to cause structural damage versus sustained? That's a good question. Gusts, it's usually a big, strong gust that takes a roof off or something like that. So I would say, structural can kind of over time weaken a structure, and then a big gust comes through and does some damage. So that depends. That's it's kind of a toss up as far as what's going to happen there. But probably I would say the gusts are going to be, if there is wind damage, and it's very possible that there is, especially with some of the intense wind gusts that are possible. I would say it's probably the gusts more than the sustain that ends up being the tipping point.
The flash freeze on top of that too could cause weakening of things, right? Like power lines, etc.
Yeah, limbs and yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah, that's a pretty good point. Yeah, for sure. Jessica says, any ETA on Instant Weather Pro? We're aiming for a spring launch. That's the plan. We've been continuing to chip away at it this winter, and we're aiming for a spring launch within the Instant Weather app. I think that's the plan, and as well to the website version as well. So yeah, we're chipping away at that, and we want to get it ready for tornado season so that folks can use it. We tested it all last year. It's it had some things that we need to tweak, and there was some great stuff with it as well too. So anyways, that's the plan. But thank you for the question. I appreciate it. Thank you kindly. What are the chances the models could shift? Anything can happen, but this is not just, this is like, when we talk about the model shifting, sometimes it's usually like we're talking about like isolated thunderstorms. We're like, they might pop up in deep southwestern Ontario, or they might shift a little bit to the north. This storm is enormous. Storm is enormous, and it's heading towards us. If it shifts a little bit to the right or to the left, it could slightly change things, but this beast of a storm is heading towards us. So chances are, even if the track shifts slightly, you're only going to see maybe the heaviest snow squalls impact a different area, or some of the totals be slightly shifted. But as you saw earlier, or if you didn't see it, when this live stream's done, scroll back to the start of it. I think you should be able to do that on YouTube, Instant Weather Ontario on YouTube. But go back to the start and watch the models that we went through, because it showed the extreme winds just basically across the region. So, I don't know that it shifting a bit is really going to make that much of a difference at this point in time. When we were like 7 days out, we were like, it could shift way to the west or way to the east, but we're getting pretty close. What is it today? It is Wednesday, and this storm starts Thursday night, so we're quite close at this point in time. Julie says, thankful for a PA day on Friday. I don't think everybody has one, but if you have one, that is good. That is certainly good. Okay, continuing to scroll through these comments. So many. Oh my goodness. Thank you everybody for asking. Really, really appreciate it. Yeah, it's gonna be an intense storm, and it's going to be quite dangerous here. Let's see here. Oh, Brendan said maybe I should do a snow day forecast for tomorrow or for Friday. Yeah. Oh, I don't think Brendan's ever done that before. He hasn't. I don't think we've ever done a snow day forecast 2 days early. But he says maybe I should do one. So I think we should ask the community here. So Brendan literally said, maybe I should do a snow day forecast for Friday right now. And I'm going to go look in the comments and see, do you want a snow day forecast for Friday already? Let us know. Summer says, how will you balance family time with keeping us informed? Carefully. We've been practicing that skill set. This is our 9th year, and by April 18th, we will be celebrating our 10-year anniversary. Started off with Ontario Tornado Watch, eventually grew into Ontario Blizzard Watch as well. We eventually converted that to Instant Weather Ontario and branded the whole thing Instant Weather. We'll be celebrating our 10th year tracking severe weather with you wonderful folks. So thank you so much for being with us for all this time, whether you've been with us for a day or you've been with us for a decade. It's been an interesting journey, and I couldn't have done it without our wonderful team. I could go through all the names. There's a lot of names. I'm not going to go through them all, and you know who you are. You're wonderful, and thank you so much. Thank you to the team. Thank you to the community. If it wasn't for the team, and if it wasn't for the community, actually, if it wasn't for the community, we wouldn't have the team, because literally every single member of our team came from the community. So thank you to the community. Thank you to our team. Thank you to everybody for making this possible. And I'm just so grateful for all you wonderful folks going on this wild weather journey with me and with everybody here. So thank you. I can't say enough how much I really appreciate it. Oh no, Brendan, I like it. Brennan, here we go. This is Brennan's snow day forecast for Friday. Is this Brennan? Is this your official forecast, or is this a preliminary? This might be a preliminary. I think so. This might be preliminary. Now, hold on. What does gray mean? We always get the question of what does gray mean. If I live in Algonquin Park, does that mean I don't have to go to school? Is that what this means? It's gray in Algonquin Park. Oh, I see. There's no schools there. Okay. All right. I understand. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Congrats on 10 years. Thank you kindly. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much, everyone. This is okay. Let's get that. We'll let Brennan tweak that. I don't know if that's if that is Brennan's final snow day forecast for Friday. That looks about right. I would say it looks about right. Power outages in Grey Bruce over 8,500. Restoration by 12:15. Brenda McDonald said. Is that right now? Really? There's 8,500 people out of power in Grey Bruce. I would assume that's not weather related, but who knows?
Just take a look now.
Take a peek. See if that is the case. Brenda says, "Congrats on 10 years. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you kindly." So there's a few folks asking about the. Amber says, what about the snow day forecast for Thursday? I don't think so, because it's not really rolling in until Thursday night. So I don't think there's going to be a snow day forecast for Thursday. But if there is, it's not going to be as pink as that one was. That was ridiculous. Transformer explosion in Chatsworth, says Alicia. I see. Interesting. Dana says, when are we getting our storm jammies? I know, wouldn't this be the perfect event for the storm jammies? We were working on, Teresa was doing such a wonderful job. We were working on some really cool instant weather branded rulers for measuring snow. And then it turns out they're going to take forever to be shipped here because they have to come from Switzerland or something. Anyways, well, we're going back to the drawing board on that one. We got kind of caught up in that one, but we'll have to see how it goes. But anyways, storm jammies would be sweet. We got to do some storm jammies. It seems like a good idea. Anyways, thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate it. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I only see some isolated outages here on Hydro One's website. It looks like maybe 700 without power. Estimated restoration at 12:15. So not 8,500, but still power outage. So
interesting. Good to know. Thank you for clarifying that. Anyways, so thank you so much, everyone. Again, if you're trying to figure out what the timing is and what's possible for your area, download our free app. You can get it. I'll put it one more time in the comments. To get info for your exact area that updates often. Download our free app, instantweatherinc.com/app. Yeah, go download Instant Weather branded storm chips. Somebody said that's not a bad idea. But yeah, so go download our free app, check out the hourly product, try to figure out what's going to happen for your area. Take a look at we posted the forecast. It's at the top and the alert bar at the top. If you click it, you'll notice that we have a custom update there with the forecast that shows the regional stuff. And I know Brendan's working on more, especially his snow day forecast, which looked like he spent a lot of time on. And then, Melanie says, this is a good one. She says, Weather Network's saying hardly any snow. It depends on where you are. If you're in Toronto, the models look like it's not going to be that much snow at all. But if you're east of Midland, that's going to be a different story. So yeah, there's a few areas that are going to get hammered. There's some areas that are going to get missed with the snowfall, but that doesn't mean there's not a flash freeze risk there. There's not some very, very strong wind gusts, especially on Friday. Yeah, it's not going to be the greatest situation for sure. So, and Amazing Person 3409, our good friend from YouTube, says some models are trying to put 20-foot waves in Lake Erie from the So also, we didn't even mention this though, but there is a flood risk on the shoreline there. So, we put back up Brennan's snow day forecast for Friday. Oh my goodness, this is ridiculous. Okay. Yeah, let's just go ahead and pull. There we go. Perfect. All right. Anyways, long story short, thank you again to everybody for joining us here. Thank you to Liam for joining us as well too. I think we'd like to do another live stream. I'm not sure 100% if it's going to happen. We were thinking about doing one tomorrow. That might happen. It might not. I'd like to do one on Friday if the power stays on. That would be optimal. And there is me as the Grinch again. So is my area going to be affected by this? And the answer is yes, yes, yes. So I am the Christmas Grinch this year. Thank you, Brendan, for that. This is what Brendan does. That's what he does best. Anyways, thank you so much to everyone. Thank you for joining us on the live stream. Please be safe out there. Try not to travel on Friday if you can. Try not to travel on Saturday if you can. And if you are in the snow belts, Sunday is going to be disgusting as well too. So, anyways, try to be safe. That's all we can ask for, and hopefully everybody stays safe out there. And if a huge thank you to all the essential workers who have to travel, they have no choice. And if we can all who don't have to travel stay off the roads, so give them some space to go through the brutal conditions to get to where they have to be to try to help folks out, then that would be optimal as well too. So huge thank you to those who are helping, and thank you to everyone. And happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. If we don't see you, I'm sure we'll probably go live again. But yeah, we'll see how it all goes. But anyways, thank you so much, Liam. I appreciate it.
Yep. See you later.
Thanks, man. Have a good night, everyone. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.